Chapter 18. The Dawn. Ghalen watched this new, confident, and commanding elf standing where Lily once had. Though her eyes had faded from their near-glowing gold they held in the arena to their familiar green, everything from her posture to the certainty in her expression made her look like the embodiment of what he had always dreamed she would become. Could he dare hope this desperate mission might actually succeed? As her earlier words sank in, the absurdity struck Ghalen.
So he claims,
he began in a low voice,
that they attacked our lands, slaughtered the defenseless, and unleashed years of havoc and devastation? All because an oracle emerged from that gateway and commanded them?
He took a step back. Lytheria raised her hand. Hold your judgment, Ghalen. It is undeniable that your people have suffered, but so have his. The arcane arts of my kind are too powerful for the Elgric or your soldiers to resist. Destiny might well have reversed your roles. Her voice softened as she looked at him pleadingly. What do you think your people would have done if Lumar herself had stepped out of the blue gates, wielding magic beyond your understanding? She straightened. If you seek someone to blame, direct your hatred at my kin, not his. Galen's strength faltered. He staggered backwards, leaning against the cold wall before sliding down and cradling his head in his hands. Will he let us go? Fina asked. Lytheria fixed her gaze on Kakor. If you wish to stop this corruption, these people are your best chance. The chieftain watched her for a long moment, then turned to Ghalen. She tells me you're an important man. You end this war, Stonelander. Free my people. Swear this on blood, and I set you free as honor walkers of this land. Ghalen looked at Lytheria, searching for guidance. She nodded, and he took a deep breath.
I hope I'll live long enough to regret this. We will do all we can to cleanse this curse, Kakgor. I swear it.
Kakor drew a dagger from his belt, slicing his palm before slamming his bloodied hand against his chest. Then he threw the knife to Ghalen. Lytheria nodded again. It is a blood oath. You seal it by doing the same. Ghalen cut his palm and mimicked the gesture. Kakor nodded and muttered something to Lytheria in his native tongue. She replied in the common language. You must stop the Elgric advance as best as you can. No more lives should be lost due to our mistakes. Turning to Ghalen, she added, I must warn her people. She cleared her throat. My people. I don't know what has happened in the Sunwoods, but any chance of stopping this conflict rests on the Council's shoulders. She smiled at Ghalen. You placed your faith in me. Now, I will try to honor our agreement. She gently placed a hand on Haldor's shoulder, and a familiar warmth filled the room. The coming battles are mine to face. I will keep you safe now. Kakor frowned. I believe in you, Elfling, he said, shaking his head. You speak with confidence of a Stonelander queen. He scoffed before continuing. You've proven yourself in the eyes of our god, but you ask much. Elgric are led by many chieftains. I am only one, and not strongest. Cursed Doskull commands most of us now. Alone, I cannot stop them. They not seen omens as I have. Lytheria walked toward the door. I expect none of you to do more than you can, she said, turning back to face them. We must prepare to leave. I fear the Sunwoods is in danger, and I may have to resolve more than one conflict before I root out this evil. As she stepped through the doorway, her movements faltered. She dropped to one knee, clutching her chest and wincing in pain, before collapsing unconscious.
Fina!
Ghalen exclaimed, but she was already running towards the unconscious elf. What? Kakor stared at them. She is sick! Fina tossed her head and gave him a stare that could kill. I need fire and water. Kakor ordered his men to show her to a fire, and they fetched some water. Ghalen just watched, slumped against the wall. It appeared, whatever it meant, being an honor walker would be helpful. Sometime after Fina had managed to administer medicine, Lytheria's eyes flickered open. Fina was tending to her, pressing a cool cloth to her forehead. Welcome back, Fina said. You may be an elven general, but it seems you still need me to keep good on the promise I made to you. she added, her lips pressing into a tight line. "And your illness is getting worse. When you flare up, the fever gets to you so fast now. I'm not sure what will happen if I can't get to you fast enough."
If there's still a chance you'll fall into distress like this again, you'll need me to protect you. That was Pior's promise to you, as I understand it. And since he's no longer here to fulfill it, I will honor it.
Haldor said, his face as expressionless as ever. Ghalen, now composed, stood nearby.
I left on this journey with the fool's hope that you could help bring an end to this war. Does our agreement still stand?
He asked. Lytheria nodded.
Then I will do whatever is in my power to aid you.
Lytheria frowned, gazing through the open doorway. Her eyes dropped to the floor as she grasped Haldor's outstretched hand to steady herself and stand. She turned to face Ghalen, her voice strained. "It seems your aid would indeed be invaluable. Yet, I had hoped to keep you out of further harm. Traveling beyond the gate will bring dangers, and I cannot promise your safety." Ghalen straightened.
From the start of this quest, I was prepared to die for my people. We will share the road once more, Lytheria. But this time, we march under your banner.
He offered a slight bow of his head. Kagor returned in the doorway. "You awake, elfling." He let out a quick breath from his nose as he walked past her. "I try tell them, honor walkers free to walk this forest under my protection." He went on in his own tongue, growling. When he finished, he looked expectantly over at Ghalen. Lytheria translated. "He would have us rest here as guests tonight. And, with your blessing, they would honor Pior, Bearbreaker, they call him, with a hero's funeral." She translated as Kakor went on detailing the proceedings. Warriors who displayed unmatched courage and met their ends in combat were given a ceremonial cremation. As Lytheria translated, her eyes all lowered.
"He would be honored,"
Haldor broke in. Fina looked up at him, but he went on.
"I am sorry, Fina, but the Ilskarians do not share your love for Lamar. It would be his wish. Besides, cremation is the Northerners' way."
Ghalen nodded.
"So be it. We accept your offer, chieftain."
With tears glistening in their eyes, each member was granted a final moment with Pior before the ceremony began. As they entered the tent, Pior lay on a stretcher, his attire meticulously chosen to hide the wounds that had claimed him. A caved, life-size figure of a mighty bear stood beside him, the massive paws of the beast cut off and laid beside his body, its majestic head resting between Pior's legs. In death, there was a sense of peace about him, lying there with the creature he'd slain. Pior reminded Ghalen of the legendary Armstrong, a figure from their childhood stories. Ghalen had never fully believed the tales of Armstrong's feats, but one story resonated now, the wrestling of the bear, Pior's favorite. A lump the size of an apple formed in Galen's throat. His stomach churned, and his eyes welled up. He felt like he might choke on the pain, but instead, a torrent of tears erupted.
"Forgive me, old friend,"
he choked out.
"I couldn't protect you, but I will keep her safe."
As the others made their farewells, Haldor was the last one to look over their friend. Ghalen stood in the opening, holding the tent flap. Haldor rested his hand on Pior's chest and said,
"Rest now, my brother. I will take the next watch."
As he was about to turn away, he stopped for a moment, pulling something from Pior's old clothes lying next to the body. He produced a parchment. It was a paper Pior had been saving for his daughter. Haldor hugged the parchment to his chest and whispered almost inaudibly,
"I will take her where you cannot, my friend. She will see what you dreamed for her. That I swear."
He strode past Ghalen, who held the tent open for him without lifting his eyes. As the two returned down the slope to the heart of the village, they were led to a wooden cabin they had been given for their stay. Ghalen saw Fina with a glass of something, crying at the table. Lytheria was staring out into the evening, Ghalen blinked as he sat down, putting his head in both hands. Haldor walked over to the wall, clutching the note. Fina began behind him. This would have been a good time to be as detached as you are, Haldor. Always focused on the task at hand. Her words slurred, obviously affected by her drink. Haldor did not turn to face her. Ghalen knew that he could not. He would not let them see him like this. Ghalen had seen Haldor's eyes. They were burning from crying, and he could see the snot dripping from his nose. He knew exactly what the man was thinking. Just like himself, he probably wanted to lie down and cry, or cut everything in his sight into pieces. But Ghalen knew his friend would not. He would be strong for his friends. The first signs of nightfall painted the sky in hues of red as the wary comrades approached the hollowed grove. A chill breeze rustled through the trees surrounding them. Moss-covered stones, slick with evening dew, showed the path leading deeper into the heart of the grove. The smell of wood smoke reached Galen's nose. Before them stood a towering oak with golden leaves, the most majestic tree he had ever seen. Its branches reached skyward, like gnarled fingers, marking the sacred ground at the grove center. A low hum of anticipation filled the air, broken only by the mournful howl of a distant wolf. As his eyes adjusted to the deepening shadows, Ghalen saw a circle of warriors positioning before a roaring pride. The flickering flames cast dancing shadows on their faces, painted with vibrant war paint and adorned with ceremonial garb. Animal hides draped their muscular forms, and impressive trophies, antlers of stags and beaks of fierce birds adorned their heads. Ghalen and his companions were ushered to the back of the gathering, feeling like outsiders intruding on a deeply personal ritual. Suddenly, torches were lit, casting a warm glow on the assembled figures. The warriors launched into a rhythmic chant, their voices rising and falling in a language Ghalen couldn't understand. Lytheria leaned close, her voice a hushed whisper, against the growing volume of the chant. Strong soul, strong body, strong roots, she translated, her eyes filled with solemn respect. 4 figures emerged from the shadows, their forms draped in flowing white robes that shimmered in the firelight. Shamans. They bore a stretcher on which lay Pyor, his face serene under the flickering flames. He was clad in his finest leather armor. Beside him lay his damaged chainmail, a silent testament to the battle he had fought. As the procession moved past each warrior, a heavy silence descended. Then, with a swift movement, each warrior drew a small knife and sliced a shallow cut across their palm. Lytheria, without a moment's hesitation, mirrored the gesture, a determined glint in her eye. Ghalen stood, paralyzed by the act. Shamefaced, he fumbled for his own knife. He winced, feeling the pain from his prior cut, and changed hands to hold the knife to cut his left palm. One by one, the others followed the clink of metal on flesh. As Ghalen pressed his bloodied palm to his chest, he looked to Haldor and saw a single tear trace down his cheek, shimmering like a tiny diamond in the firelight. Haldor said, voice thick with emotion,
"Rest well, brother."
His vow echoed in the stillness of the grove. His other hand tightened around the parchment.
"I will keep her safe."
Once the flames had consumed Pyor and reduced him to ashes, the remnants were reverently placed at the base of the massive tree. The warriors gradually departed, leaving the hollowed ground with only the circle of friends, each struggling with their own sorrow. Lytheria was more reserved. She looked at the tree and smiled. This is a 12-witch tree. They were believed to grow only in the sunwoods, yet its roots must have found their way beneath the barriers, sprouting in this land. This tree pulses with our magical life force. Pyor's ashes will strengthen its roots. His soul will meld with our ethereal current as an honor beyond imagination. Lytheria approached the 12-witch tree, placing her palms upon its ancient bark. She began to whisper in the elvish tongue, her voice weaving an enchanting melody that felt more like a song than mere words. As her chant continued, a soft radiance enveloped her. When the incantation ended, a luminous blue sheen emerged from where Pyor was buried. This ethereal glow moved steadily, finally merging with the tree. Be at peace, selfless soul. Find your rest, she whispered, gently placing her forehead against the tree. She turned back to face the others. We should go. In time, his spirit will find rest.